A new poll revealing American priorities that once defined the nation, such as patriotism, faith, and hard work, unfortunately, are on the decline. Today, only 38% of Americans think patriotism is very important. That's down from 70% in 1998. As for religion and hard work, similar stories. So what's driving down these core values? Let's bring in our panel. In the back, on the far left, we have Matthew Cairo, a campus reform correspondent and Long Island University Post student. We have Daniel E. Friends, a campus reform correspondent at Syracuse University, as a student, and Michael Matos, a Coast Guard veteran. In the front row on the left, we have Sergeant Mika Nugent, a Marine Corps veteran, and Megan Dishman, a New York mother, a child who is 8 months old, 5 months old. Congratulations. And Michael's also a father to a 4-year-old in the back. Well, thank y'all all for being with us. I know y'all talked to the producers, and I was reading everything that y'all said because these numbers are pretty shocking, aren't they? Back in 1998, 70% thought that patriotism was very important. Now it's 38%. Matthew, in the back, how do you feel about that? Are you shocked?
Yeah, I'm not shocked that it's only 38% of patriots, because on college campus, we see this happening every single day. Me personally, I was raised to grow up and love my country and love the freedoms that it gives me. But my peers, I can't say the same thing. They don't value American values like we do. At Leadership Institute's Campus Reform, we've been reporting on stories like this where free speech codes and free speech zones are causing students to feel the need to censor themselves. And it just goes to show that they don't value freedom anymore, and the education system isn't teaching us this.
Well, Daniel, I see you shaking your head. Is it because people are too scared to stand up for what they really believe because they're scared they're going to offend someone?
Well, I would say it's mainly because of the academic institutions. From like K to 12 and even in college, I'm in Syracuse University. Professors have been telling students to not like their country, to not like their country. And, when students talk about their nation, it's either to demean the United States, to degrade the United States. And so if somebody's way more patriotic, they're not going to stand up and they're not going to speak out in the classroom or on social media.
Right. You said you're not surprised that your generation is depressed and isolated. Why?
Well, because the poll says it all, rates of depression are naturally up because we don't have our communities anymore. We are not proud to be in this nation anymore. We don't look forward to having children, In Syracuse University, I can speak to the student culture there. I'm talking to my friends all the time, and I ask them, hey, when do you want to have a family? And usually they scoff at that question. They say, when I'm 30, I'm going to travel the world. But family, religion, patriotism, those are the core values that give Americans around the world, Americans then and now, fulfillment.
All right, Sergeant Nugent, how do you feel about this? Because you are fighting for our country. You're a Marine Corps veteran, or you did fight for our country. You talked a little bit about that in your interview with the producers, and you also talked about the birth rate. Why aren't people wanting to start families?
I think that because there's more education opportunities for females nowadays, they're more interested in following high-profile careers rather than starting families. So
is it because it's expensive to have a family? You want to have the money in the bank?
I think that it's both expensive, but at the same time, we're very interested in gender equality. So we want to reach high-profile jobs, but to do that, we need to be, we have to have the same amount of time that we can put through our jobs as males. And if we're having children, then we're not going to be maybe up for that promotion that a male would be if, because they're not getting, bearing children.
Right.
I think that it's that, and also I think that women nowadays, which is not a bad thing, but we're very focused on our needs and our achievements rather than the needs of the community and creating, a family and raising children. So it's more of like the needs of the few compared to the needs of the many. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's definitely changing the course of society because everybody has their own goals, in mind now, rather than, let's raise a family, let's, like American household.
All right, Michael, let me get to you because what I'm hearing a lot, and my generation's the same way, is back when you talk to our grandparents, it was putting others first. It was about putting your country first. It was about putting your God first, your family first. It wasn't focused on ourselves. It wasn't a selfish ideology. But now what I'm hearing is it's all about what's best for me. And I don't want to have kids, or I don't want to go to church because I don't want to focus on God. It's all about me.
So essentially, I think we as a country need to embrace and believe in the country that we live in currently. I think this poll is a good opportunity for us to do some self-reflection. If we're having the results that we have where people are having lower rates of feeling patriotic, we need to look at why that is. Not so much to condemn them, but take the opportunity and see what kind of weaknesses or failures we've had as a country and build upon that. But we can only do that if we come together as a community. And people need to be more about how can I help my fellow neighbor and less about how can I help myself.
Yeah, Megan, you have a problem with people who complain about America, right?
Not a problem, but I think we could more easily focus on the shared freedoms that we have as a way to improve our country together.
So you think people that are ungrateful need to reflect on what their lives could look like in another country where we don't have those freedoms?
I think we could, yes. I also look at the sharp decline in religion on the poll as something that I think answers a lot of the questions that we're seeing. If you're acting with the sacrificial love of Christ, then you're not seeing as much tolerance decline, family decline, lack of community engagement, but you will see things like the rise in the love of money.
All right, y'all, thank you so much.